game that Robert Mims had last week for Saskatchewan, and they needed to get him rolling in the offense today.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by B.F. Goodrich. Show them your true colors.
Standing room only in our section here in Winnipeg. A crowd of 26,161 on this gorgeous afternoon for football. James, how are those feet? You still need that space heater?
It's nice and warm. You always keep me hot up here.
Great crowd and a decent football game as we make the turn for the fourth quarter. First down, Saskatchewan, just across the Winnipeg 50-yard line. They lead 13-11. The handoff to Mims right through the middle, and Colin Scribner puts the arm lock on him after a gain of about 2. First quarter, or rather third quarter stats, and the Bombers improving, but net yards again virtually even.
Well, when you talk about two teams after playing 3 quarters of football with less than 200 yards of offense, I think you have to gravitate more towards the defensive side and speak about how outstanding both defenses has been, and they both have been stalwarts this afternoon.
Second down and 8. Jimmy Kemp. Short drop. Across the middle. Looking for Harris, and he was clobbered by Bobby Evans.
Narcisse, I think, was the intended
Looks like
receiver
that's
on
right,
the play.
Don Narcisse.
But it was very close whether Evans arrived slightly before the football did or not. Donald Narcisse was running the slant, but Kemp has gotten a bit nervous in the pocket. He's not planting his feet. And so when you don't do that as a quarterback, the ball has a tendency to tail on you and get wide of your receivers.
Jim Daly, the rookie head coach, a genius on defense, and he's got a good game plan today.
We'll get a good look right here as he has the happy feet, and he's trying to throw off those tippy toes. You can't do that. You got to get those heels down and get some drive through on the football so that you get some velocity on it.
So Matic will punt. The southpaw sending this one deep, and it's going to be into the Winnipeg end zone. Basinger lets it go out of touch, and so put one more on the board for Saskatchewan. Brent Matic with a huge punt single, and now Saskatchewan with a 77-yard punt single on a great day for football, opening a 3-point lead on Winnipeg.
The only bad thing about this crowd today is we have to stand underneath the soffit in the shade.
Yes, it would be nice to be out in the sunshine here today. Many of the leaves still on the trees here in Winnipeg. We're on borrowed time because Old Man Winter is around the corner. I remember last year on Halloween night we had snow and it stayed.
Remind me not to come by and trick-or-treat, okay?
Bombers go on offense on their own 35. They're down 14-11. Whistles halting these proceedings.
Well, at least there was no flag, so maybe we won't get another penalty.
George Black takes out his pen and paper as Slack goes to the bench to confer with Cal Murphy. Murphy giving Slack his instructions with Austin listening in. Jim Daly now hoping to get some decent field position by halting the Bombers here. First and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
You know, we haven't seen Shannon Baker in some time in the passing scheme for Winnipeg. This is the guy that they need to look at.
Nobody in the backfield as Slack goes deep, but it's overthrown, and there's a flag on the play.
That's in that area where you normally get an offside. Saskatchewan was blitzing on the play. But you ended up with a procedure from Winnipeg. You know, someone pulled out just a bit early, anticipating trying to get a block on the blitz.
Procedure, Winnipeg number 2. Penalties declined. Second down.
And a worrisome trend developing at quarterback for the Bombers. Slack has been incomplete in his last 6 attempts.
Well, it's a worrisome trend, but you know, the thing about when you have a 2-quarterback system and you have a starter, normally the starter will take the most reps in practice. And that's what you get with Ken Austin. He's going to get the majority of the reps, and Slack is only going to get the secondary phase. And when he comes in and with this multi-tandems of receivers that they've used in Winnipeg this year, it's hard for anyone to get a rhythm. And when you're trying to go deep, that is the most difficult of all timing passes to throw in football.
There's a bad sign for Saskatchewan. Troy Alexander is down on one knee.
Well, he's a young guy with a bright future that they hope. They moved him out to weak side defensive end for this game. So he's playing out of position, but he's had an outstanding game thus far. And this will bring the old veteran Glenn Kulka back into the game. This is a guy who's had back surgery earlier this year, and now he's back in. He's number 68. He'll be playing on the nose, and this is a guy, you talk about tough. They don't come any tougher than Glenn Kulka right there.
Glenn Kulka with the menacing tattoo on that large right bicep. 11th year in the CFL. A warrior indeed.
This is a guy that really doesn't even need shoulder pads to play. He's that tough.
And Robinson walks offside, and then Walby decks Kulka. Walby pleading innocence.
Well, it looked like WrestleMania, but see, this is one of those situations where an official has to step in, and you call unnecessary roughness. The play was dead. Walby came in and took an excessive shot on Kulka when he was standing there not protecting himself.
As big as Kulka is, he gave way 100 pounds on that collision to the big Walby.
Saskatchewan number 98.
But also in a situation when you have a player standing there that's totally defensive because the play is dead. Watch right here as Chris Walby comes down. Kulka's just standing there, and he takes a cheap shot on him, and the official says it's acceptable. When do you call objectionable conduct or not?
Could have sworn you were on the field right now.
I would have never taken that shot, though.
Here we go. Slack to Baker in his hands, and he can't hold on. Right at first down territory, too.
He was very fortunate that Aaron Ruffin didn't come up with the deflection on that play. He got a hand on it, and it went off his fingertip. But if he had not been trying to make the hit, but that's what you do as a defensive back, try to make the hit. But watch right here as he makes an effort, and he gets one hand on the football. Could have been a huge blow against Winnipeg.
As Tommy Joe Coffey, the former Tiger Cat, used to say, if you can touch it, you should catch it. That one should have been caught by Baker. Now the Bombers are in a punting situation. Bombers have failed to convert second down situations in their last 4 drives. Cameron with another beauty. Aaron Ruffin. Flags on the play. Looked like the Bombers had given him 5 yards, but the flag is down. K.D. Williams may be fingered for being too close.
Well, he was one of 2 Bombers in that neutral zone.
Frank Jaggis opening the scoring for Saskatchewan with that 44-yard field goal to make it 3-1 in what was a hockey game. Then Matic producing the safety to tie it up. At the half, it was 6-3 Saskatchewan on another Jaggis field goal. Finally, the first touchdown of the game. Leonard Jean-Pierre coming in from 4 yards out, and then that electrifying 82-yard punt return for a touchdown by Aaron Ruffin. And Saskatchewan was up 13-11. One more on a single, and it's 14-11 Saskatchewan with 12-14 to go in the football game. Mims looking for an opening, and there isn't one, as Charlie Clemens and Colin Scrivener manhandle him. And now the flags are flying again as some fists were flying in the trenches.
So what amazes me is that it's allowed on one play and not allowed on the other play to take a free punch on a player, and then you come back in the next surge and flag a team.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Winnipeg number 48.
Now what Charlie Clemens did on this play was less than what Chris Walby had done in the previous series. You'll see Charlie Clemens right here at the end of the play when he gets the flag, and all he's doing is pushing. Chris Walby came in and leveled Glenn Kulka and didn't get a flag. Even though you see Snipes and Terry going at it, they called Clemens for a slap. Looked like 2 girls going at it.
These games are always exciting and tough to aggressive football teams. So close right now with a playoff spot in the balance as Curtis Mayfield drops one right in the breadbasket.
Well, Curtis Mayfield hasn't seen many balls in his direction, but we've seen that from both sides this afternoon. Receivers trying to run prior to making the reception. Kemp puts the ball where it needs to be, but his receiver lets him down on the play. You spoke about it. If you can touch it, you got to catch it, and that hit, he got both hands on that one.
So it puts Saskatchewan 2nd and 10. Just over the Bomber 50. Kemp will roll left. Good contain, and Snipes has a sack. Sack number 13 for Big Angelo.
His first sack in 3 games. He had been in a bit of a drought, but that time Angelo Snipes was relentless in his pass rush and able to come in. At the top of your screen, he uses an inside move, and that's a no-no, but they had a stunt with Clemens coming around on the loop, and he forced him back into Snipes for the sack. The 2 defensive ends getting the job done.
Flag on the play. It looked like the Bombers were offside. Boyko fumbles the ball, gets it, and is quickly brought down just inside his own 20-yard line. Brooks Finley making the tackle. A 3-point ball game with 10:58 to go here in Winnipeg. To Winnipeg Stadium, just under 11 minutes to go in the ball game, and a field goal separates Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. Tomorrow, our Thanksgiving Day double dip from the nation's capital in Ottawa. It's the Alouettes and Roughriders, and then right after that, we go to the west in the foothills, the Stampeders and the Argos in that rematch. The Argos winning by 1 at home earlier this season. Movement on the line. Shovel pass to Jean-Pierre. He breaks the tackle, turns back inside. What an effort! Leonard Jean-Pierre over first down territory, but it may be all for naught.
No, you got to get Edwards 93 for Saskatchewan offsides. He jumped into that neutral zone, but what an excellent effort by Jean-Pierre on that run, eluding tacklers.
Offside, Saskatchewan number 93. Penalties decline. First down.
He made that play all within about a 5-yard bracket, dodging back and forth, making defenders miss, picking up the first down.
There's a man the Bombers missed dearly, Gerald Wilcox, hoping for his 3rd 1,000-yard receiving season, snuffed out by a torn knee ligament. He's out for the year, although he had been saying his rehab's been going so well, he might be back for the playoffs. Dean Lytle with the pitch out, and he's caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Rogers did a good job of coming up. He's been moved back from the defensive end to the linebacker position that he played in 94-95 for Saskatchewan prior to going to Montreal. But watch as he comes down and stretches the play out. Jean-Pierre tries to get the block on him, but he fights him off with the hands, and he's able to make the stop on Lytle for a loss on the play.
Rogers manhandling Jean-Pierre, then making the tackle as Jean-Pierre tried to tackle him.
Well, normally you have the fullback Lytle up doing the blocking and letting Jean-Pierre run him because he's a more dominating blocker.
2nd down, long, Winnipeg, slack across the middle, and he's got his man right at first down territory. Might be just short. Freeman Basinger with the grab on close coverage.
He's going to come up about the length of a football short. As you see, 7 of the last 9 incomplete, and they desperately needed that completion. They're going to come up short, but if you recall the last time that Winnipeg was short on a 3rd and short situation when they tried to run the sweep, and Saskatchewan stopped them early in the first quarter.
3rd catch of the game for Basinger. He has 38 yards, a player who has been transient in the CFL, but Cal Murphy, who caught him at training camp, said he got caught in the numbers game, the import-non-import ratio. Really likes his fire. And the Bombers just get it.
Bad spot on the sideline with the sticks. I had that measured up right. Well, they needed that first down, and Slack needed the completion even more because he needs to develop his confidence. He only has 9:20 to go in the game, and Winnipeg has not even been close to getting into the end zone today.
Bombers with a big turnaround. This time last year they were 4-10. First losing season in recent memory. Big pass to the far sideline, and Myron Wise this time makes sure of the catch. First time we've seen the Bombers go deep.
Myron Wise is the man that can go deep for the Bombers, and that time he ran an excellent fade route to the corner, and he got behind Benson Donaldson, but better, even more important, Reggie Slack put the ball right on the money. As I spoke about, the deep pass is the most difficult timing pass in football to throw, and he put that one right on the numbers.
Myron Wise with a good game, 5 catches for 70 yards. The draw to Jean-Pierre, and he turns and twists for a decent game.
You know, I really like the way this young man explodes when he gets his hands on the football. There's no hesitation in his run. It was a draw play. He got the ball at about 5 yards deep, and he just explodes through the hole. Even though he picks up 6, this is a very powerful run for 6 yards by the rookie from York.
Amply filling the shoes of the injured starter, Blaze Bryant. We've got a 3-point football game with 8:20 to go. 2nd and 5 Bombers. Marching now. Flats. It's Shannon Baker, and he'll have the first down as he's driven out of bounds at the Saskatchewan 21-yard line. Terrell Ulmer with the tackle. Shannon Baker.
Shannon Baker, he's moved back into the slot. He and Boyko are rotating, and what that does is that it causes confusion for the secondary coverage of Saskatchewan because he creates the mismatch. And when you can get Baker running that wheel route to the corner outside, he has a lot of speed to pick up the first down.
This drive originating on the Winnipeg 20. Fake. Austin, or rather Slack, rolling out. He'll run! He's got some room. Slack takes a big lick from Rogers and goes down over the 5. There are flags all over the play.
Brett McNeil is going to get an unnecessary roughness call, and it's really going to hurt the Bombers. A marvelous effort by Reggie Slack to get his team down in the red zone at the 5-yard line. And you got McNeil with the unnecessary penalty coming down, getting the cheap shot after the play was dead. Oh, they're actually going to say it was on Saskatchewan. I was watching McNeil as he came in with the late hit at the end of the run. Actually, McNeil was the one who got hit.
Oh, yeah, you can see that. It looked like Todd Storm.
Todd Storm came in and getting his second call of the day.
No, it was Kulka. It was Kulka with the cheap shot who came in from behind.
Well, I guess he thought that since he had one laid on him earlier, Glenn Kulka came down and saw Brett McNeil watching the play at the end of the run and blasted the offensive guard for Winnipeg. And he got called where Walby didn't get called when he blasted him earlier in the 4th quarter here.
1st and goal. Bombers on the 2. Slack turns. Gives to Dean Lytle. He puts his head down and comes right down on the goal line. What a collision. 6 foot 3 inch, 240-pound Dean Lytle.
The football on the play.
Looks
it's
like a rugby
ball down at the bottom there. But you talk about a devastating run defense. Saskatchewan, when you look at what they're doing, Winnipeg is going to recover, but watch the impact at the line of scrimmage here as Lytle gets to the top, and Dave Van Bellingham and Greg Battle come over the top. Van Bellingham, a free safety at about 170, and Battle and Rasevich, those 2 linebackers, have had an outstanding game today, along with the free safety Van Bellingham, with the huge hit on the fullback Dean Lytle.
Cal Murphy trying to keep the crowd quiet. 2nd down and goal. Nicholas is in, so is Graham for extra blocking. It's a sneak. Slack's got it. Touchdown, Blue Bombers. Bombers take the lead as Slack scores his 2nd touchdown of the season.
Cal Murphy said that he wanted to develop his running game, but he was expecting it more from his running back. Reggie Slack took it on himself to use his legs to get the ball down inside the 5-yard line. Then he decided that he would finish it off with the quarterback sneak, the offensive line with the surge. Touchdown, Bombers.
Westwood with the point after. There are flags on the play. 3 flags in the end zone on the convert attempt by Troy Westwood.
Probably going to end up with illegal substitution on the play.
Reggie Slack with all kinds of push, and he's got the Bombers in front, 18-14. The Bombers used 10 plays over 90 yards on that scoring drive, capped by the 1-yard dash set up by this play from Slack.
Well, what you do is you get outside and contain. Dan Rasevich gambled, went inside. Slack saw that, utilized his running ability to get outside, and picked up the first down inside the 5, able to capitalize with the touchdown that he took in for himself to put Winnipeg back in the lead, 18-14.
And just as important, the Bombers ate up 3 minutes off the clock. 6:16 to go. They lead by 4 as the kickoff from Westwood goes out of bounds at the 19.
And Westwood has been struggling all afternoon with his kicks. He's missed the 3 field goals. He's had a couple of kickoffs that have gone awry. If you recall his first kickoff, where he kicked the knuckler and it was caught at about the 40-yard line to open the game for Saskatchewan up at midfield.
Reggie Slack, the architect of this touchdown drive, going over the right guard.
It was a surge by the offensive line. They got good surge by Pangelides and Walby on the right side to get that push, to push back that Saskatchewan defense that's been very tough to run against all day and give Winnipeg its first major of the afternoon.
The Bombers twice now in scoring position, coming away with touchdowns. That has been a problem. They seem to have that rectified this afternoon here in the second half. They'll move Westwood's tee back to the 30, and he'll try again on this kickoff. Lots of leg in this one, right over top of the return team as Ruffin has to go back into his own end zone, and he'll concede a single. 85-yard kickoff, just when you think that Westwood hasn't got any boot in that leg, he drills one.
It'd have been better taking it off at the spot that they would allow you, I believe, up around the 40-45-yard line if you'd have taken it when it's gone out of bounds. But Troy Westwood gets a lot of leverage on this kick. He torques that body and drives it and staggers and stumbles and wobbles downfield. He's still falling through. It looked like you on your golf swing there, Mark. You know?
I've seen you take a few hunks aside out of some pretty nice golf courses myself.
Hey, you could run a fur factory with all the pelts you get.
6:04 to go. 19-14 Bombers. Kemp all the way at quarterback for Saskatchewan. It's picked off. Bobby Evans has got the ball. Evans on the return. Forced out of bounds at the 40.
Excellent break on the ball by Bobby Evans. It was slightly behind the receiver Farthing, but the defensive back Evans was able to close for the great interception for Winnipeg.
It's all one. Whatever you call it.
Here's great news from SaskTel. Now you can save 25% on long distance. 25%. That's big savings. Introducing the Real Plus Extra Savings Plan from SaskTel. With the Real Plus Extra Savings Plan, you can save 25% on your long-distance calls. Anywhere you call. Just call 1-800-SaskTel and we'll put you on the Real Plus Extra Savings Plan.